Welcome to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars Sportsbook, the home of Caesars Rewards. Caesars has been with us throughout the entire regular season. They're here with us through the playoffs. They're going to be here with us for the Super Bowl as well. And just in time for the playoffs and Super Bowl, they've got a great offer that's being extended to new customers. If you sign up at Caesars.com/sportsbook-n-casino. I know that's a long website, but that's the thing. Caesars.com/sportsbook-n-casino.
It's on the screen.
Casino. It's on the screen,
it's
too.
on the screen.
Sign up with our promo code PIKE, DYW. The DYW stands for double your winnings. Why is that? Because when you make your first cash bet of at least $1, Caesars Sportsbook will give you 100% profit boosts to use for other sporting events. There's your double your winnings right there.
There you go.
Not
All
double
right.
your bet, double your winnings.
Yep, there you go.
Terms and conditions apply, 21 and older, and problem gambling, 800 Gambler. We just finished the Wildcard Weekend.
Yep.
And great games for the most part. For the most part. I'm sure Denver and the Vikings do not think they were great games
They
there.
were just not in it.
Green Bay was not in it, too.
Steelers, too. I thought they keep it a closer game, but no, that was my one game that I lost.
I have to
this,
admit,
week.
Watching Minnesota be held to 9 points 2 straight weeks in a row, that was terrible for Sam Darnold's career.
God.
That might have just cost him the Vikings job.
Well,
we don't know.
I mean, it may have cost him some money, but you got to look at the whole body of work during the season. I mean, there are places that need some quarterbacks, so we'll see where he goes. Certainly, I think the general consensus is that it cost him some money the way he played these last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know.
He was absolutely amazing season long. I mean, for someone who watched Sam Darnold as a Jet, it's like night and day.
But again, it still goes back to what everyone was saying in the big games. Darnold does seem to have a little bit of a collapse. And
well, let's be honest. How many big games has he played?
Yeah, well, I'm talking just
He
over his
hasn't played
career. This was his very first playoff game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. How
So-
many big games has he played?
Well, he had the game clinching, the division clinching game he lost the week before against Detroit. They held him to 9 points.
Well,
2 straight weeks. I mean,
something 9 points. Something about the 9-point
Yes.
thing for the Vikings. But,
and it was very interesting coming into the Wildcard Weekend. It was the first time since 2012 all teams for the Wildcard Weekend had 10 wins or more.
yeah.
First time since 2012. That's a long time.
Yeah. No, it was, you feel bad for, the teams and, the fan bases who
Yes.
followed the teams throughout the season. They, especially for, certainly the Vikings. They had a storybook year, just absolutely amazing. But, in that conference, it seems like it's the Lions who are the chosen ones this season. So we'll see how that goes going forward.
I'm just curious to see what Minnesota does with Daniel Jones and all that stuff moving forward.
Who knows? We'll see.
But again, we've been doing this all season long. We're going to look back at the games of the previous week. Here we've got the Wildcard Weekends. We got 6 games that. Actually, I was surprised at the amount of stats that were thrown out in records for the 6 games here. And
I'm watching TV and it's the stats are first time in NFL history.
Yes.
This is the first time in playoff history. First time, someone starting, a rookie started for the Broncos. It's first time in history for them.
Yep.
So, a lot of stats, and I'm sure you're going to go through all of them.
I've got a whole list of them right here,
All
and
right.
I'm going to start right off.
I'll be quiet and
I actually have them broken down by the games.
just wallow in the stats you're going to give me.
Yeah, this was a little easier to do with only 6 games to
yeah.
do. So I'll start with the Ravens Steelers. We had Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry combining for 267 rushing yards in the win, second most rushing yards by a quarterback running back duo in a playoff game in NFL history. Only Kaepernick and Frank Gore in 2012 did that. Have more, 300 combined rushing yards.
Wow.
Derrick Henry now tied with Jim Brown for the most games with 150 rush yards and 2 rushing touchdowns in NFL history. That's regular season and postseason combined.
It's good company to be in.
Yes.
So
We have the Texans-Chargers game. Boy, did I take it on the chin on that one.
A lot of people did. Boy,
I went with Los Angeles.
It seemed like the Chargers were everyone's favorite, and
Yeah.
everyone were on the Chargers, and I stayed away from that game. It was just a little, weird. It just didn't feel right, and and boy, the 4 interceptions.
Yes.
For for Los Angeles. It's unbelievable.
That's the first stat. Justin Herbert,
yeah.
Chargers quarterback, he threw 3 interceptions all season.
That's what I was going to say.
Regular season.
He threw more
4
interceptions in that game than he did all season long. So
Texans are the 5th team to record 4 interceptions, an interception return for a touchdown, and 4 sacks in a playoff game since sacks were first tracked back in 1963.
Wow.
I guess that you could say that's never happened before. Mm-hmm. So the last 3 teams to accomplish that feat were the 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm contradicting myself. I just realized that. 2002 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2000 Baltimore Ravens, 1989 San Francisco 49ers, all went on to win the Super Bowl.
Interesting.
Something to keep in the back of your head if Texans make it through the division rounds.
Okay.
Nico Collins, new Texans playoff record with 122 receiving yards in the wild card win. He passed DeAndre Hopkins. He had 118 in the 2019 divisional round. And C.J. Stroud had a perfect 158.3 passer rating when targeting Collins only.
Okay.
Didn't have a perfect passer rating for everything else, but...
See, that's the state of stats right now. You're doing the quarterback rating for just one receiver now.
Yes. Moving over to the Buffalo and Denver game, I thought Denver started off the game really, really well.
Well, certainly
they did. Beautiful drive,
Amazing.
And then they didn't do anything afterwards.
Yep,
they scored nothing.
Yep.
Buffalo's win marked the 5th consecutive season in which Buffalo has won the wild card that it was in. James Cook, first Bills player, the running back for the Bills, first Bills player with 100-plus rushing yards in a playoff game since Thurman Thomas.
Wow.
Back in 1995, that wild card round game.
Wow. Okay.
Cook and Thomas are the only players to have 100-plus rushing yards and a rushing touchdown in a playoff game in Bills history.
Okay.
Didn't know that one. That one was kind of surprising. Going over to the Eagles-Green Bay game, really, what can you say about that? That was just domination by the Eagles right off the bat, especially the opening kickoff.
You know, it felt like the score should be a lot
more lopsided.
Lopsided, but, you know, Green Bay was in that game all the way through. So,
up until the fourth quarter.
Until...
Even with all the turnovers that Jordan Love was doing, too.
It just felt like, you know, the score should be a lot more. But,
that's concerning for anyone looking to bet on the Eagles in the next round, because they're playing a better team now with the LA Rams.
Yeah, well, I was taking it as, you know, Jalen Hurts was a little rusty. I mean, he hasn't played in a couple weeks, so, you know, I was taking it that. So,
and you also had A.J. Brown still angry after the game for the one catch. Yes,
he
was angry. He showed anger.
Good.
But he did help that author of the book he was reading.
I know.
That shot the #1 on Amazon after the game.
You got to do what you can as a good teammate.
Exactly.
So. But look, I like it when he's angry, because you know what? It means he wants the ball, and you love receivers who want the ball. Yeah. So now I kind of feel good.
He did throw the block on the tight end touchdown. Goddard,
which was amazing. What a stiff arm.
Three stiff arms are on the same guy.
Yeah. So
you don't see that one too often.
I feel, as an Eagles fan, I feel pretty good coming into this next game. So.
Saquon Barkley, your running back, ran for a playoff career high 119 rushing yards in the Eagles win,
and did the smart move by he broke it free, and then he skid, and
that was for the team, not for him.
That's the kind of player he is.
Exactly.
So that's why the Eagles are lucky to have.
He's now got 2,100 rushing yards, 2,124 rushing yards in the 2024 season, including the playoffs, 5th most by any player in NFL history.
Okay.
Going over to the Commanders and Tampa Bay game. By the way, I'm looking at my notes. I have the Commanders' old name here. I wrote that down accidentally. Jaden Daniels, just the 2nd rookie quarterback to ever win a playoff game. First Washington rookie quarterback since Sammy Baugh.
Wow.
1937 to win a playoff game.
Slinging Sammy Baugh. Wow. I did not know that.
Baugh, in the franchise's first season, put him ahead over the Bears 28-21 in that playoff game, the NFL championship.
Okay.
Jaden Daniels also became the first rookie to lead his team in passing and rushing in a playoff victory, per NFL research. Got to give him credit for that. And also Daniels recorded his 6th fourth-quarter comeback this season, the most since 1950.
Can I just say, beyond this season, I mean, the NFC East, I mean, it's going to be the Eagles and Washington next year, and it's going to be battling it out because, and I think really Washington has a shot of be. The thing about the NFC East is no one wins that conference the same year. It's like every year it flips. So next year, if the trends continue, I think Washington might be the leader in that division next year.
Well, you got to figure out who's also going to be coaching the Dallas Cowboys too.
Yeah, I never saw that coming.
No. Well,
I don't think anyone saw that coming. If people saw it coming, Belichick wouldn't be in North Carolina
I don't think Jerry
season.
Jones wants. I never thought Jerry Jones would want Belichick because Belichick wants too much control.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean,
Jerry Jones can't
Jerry
control
Jones
himself.
wasn't fired. His contract just expired, and they couldn't agree to whatever they were trying to agree to. So, interesting.
And last game of the weekend, we had the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. We talked about how bad the Vikings played. Rams defense, what was it? 9 sacks.
9 sacks.
At single game playoff record. They tied it. So
yeah, it just. We were talking about the your old quarterback of the New York Jets, who is the quarterback now of the Vikings. Probably not the quarterback of the Vikings next season, but yeah, it's hard to do anything when you're being sacked 9 times.
Well, again, I think everybody pointed out with the way Detroit played them in that final game.
Yeah.
I think Detroit had the blueprint, and the Rams had the defensive line to do the same thing.
I mean, just in
Darnold's
defense, it wasn't just Darnold too. So,
and also the Rams' first playoff win since their 2021 Super Bowl run.
Wow. Okay.
So congratulations, Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
There. One Los Angeles team did great. One did not even bother showing up, basically.
Well, look, I mean, and given the situation happening in Los Angeles, I'm surprised their heads were even in the game, So we all wish the best for the people of Los Angeles going through what they're going through.
But here, we're now leaving the Wildcard Weekend, going to division rounds. We've got 4 games to pick from over after the break here, so we're going to be doing our picks after that. We both went 2-1 in the Wildcard round. Records are up there. I've got the regular season records below it, but I'm keeping track of the playoff records separately, so I'll add it all up together before we do the Super Bowl picks.
All right.
But again, we're going to be doing our analysis and picks for the divisional round after the break. Here are the rules real quickly. I'll go through them again after the break as well. Going to be using Caesars Sportsbook midweek lines, so please check the lines before placing any bets. We're going to be picking 3 games each. We're playing against each other, as usual, like we've been doing all through the season. And we're going to be doing point spreads and totals, no money lines for our picks for the show itself. So those are the rules real quickly. We'll be right back after this to do our analysis and picks for the divisional round. Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Right back after this. Doug and Dave from Turnpike Sports here to talk about one of the more unique food delivery concepts that we've come across out in the market today, and that's Try the World.
Oh, it's amazing. But by the way, we've had that box right behind you for a couple days now, and you know how much self-restraint it took for me not to eat through that box? It's just amazing stuff in there.
Well, it's a very unique concept in the marketplace here. One of the things people love about when they travel is trying the foods in the different places, whether it's domestic or international travel. And this is where Try the World comes in, because nowadays some people don't have the money or the time to actually go around traveling all the time.
By the way, if I ever tried to find the foods that are in that box in my local markets, it would take forever. Let me tell you something. Belgian chocolate covered strawberries.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? Look at this. I got all the chocolate stuff out of the box, by the way. Milk chocolate with whole hazelnuts.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, look at these things. One of the things, dry roasted nuts from Japan.
Oh, by the way, I'll be munching on them at the Turnpike bar later today.
Yes.
And look at this. Look at this. This is the first thing that caught my attention opening the box. It's I've never heard of these, but I can't wait to try them. So, see, that's the amazing self-control I had, because I would have eaten through that box within an hour of getting it.
Well, if you'd eaten through the box, we wouldn't have anything to talk about
I know.
now.
Well, that's why I didn't do it. So, but thank you, Try the World. It's absolutely amazing.
But, Try the World, you can get snacks, drinks, anything really, chocolates, peanuts, all these different things from a different part of the globe delivered right to your door. As a matter of fact, Try the World is very simple to use, too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Actually, if you go to trytheworld.com And what you do is when you get to the homepage, you click on this big button that says Start Your Food Journey.
Okay.
Very cool thing to say.
Absolutely.
Start your food journey. And what you do is you go through a list of different ways to organize what you're ordering. You go through, choose the box size, which is dependent upon the number of snacks you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then you choose the countries you want the snacks to come from, or they have a button there that says surprise me. So they pick and choose what you want. And then you choose your subscription rate, whether it's 1 month, 6 months, 9 months, over to a year.
Well,
it's that simple.
Yeah, no, I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised, and I can't wait till we're done talking about it so I can start eating it, because I'm eyeing these Belgian chocolate things, by the way.
Well, the one thing everyone has to do when you go to checkout at trytheworld.com is make sure you use our code PIKE, P-I-K-E, to get 10% off your purchase or even your subscription. Whatever you're doing, whether it's one box or a whole year's worth of boxes, you make sure you use the word PIKE when you're going through the checkout, and you'll get 10% off your purchase.
And by the way, it's one of the most unique gifts you can give someone. I mean, it's just amazing, especially this time of gift-giving season. You never know what to give people, and this is perfect for everyone.
Well, this is a perfect gift for everyone else, but also
Absolutely.
You can give yourself the gift, too. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a gift of Try the World.
Absolutely.
It's one of the best things out there, trytheworld.com, promo code PIKE.
Can I eat now?
I'm hungry.
Okay.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars Sportsbook, the home of Caesars rewards. Caesars is with us all the way through the playoffs and the big game. They were with us throughout the entire regular season as well. And always, the new offer for new customers, Caesars.com/sportsbook-n-casino. Use our promo code PIKE DYW. DYW stands for double your winnings. When you do a cash bet of at least $1 or more, Caesars Sportsbook will give you 100% profit boost to use on other sporting events. There's where the double your winnings comes in. And as always, 21 and older, terms and conditions apply. Problem gambling, 800-GAMBLER. We just did our look back at the wildcard round of games for the NFL playoffs. We both went 2-1. We're going to be doing our analysis for the divisional round games right now. And I'll go through the rules one more time before we get to the games. We use Caesars Sportsbook midweek lines, so please check the lines before you place a bet. We do 3 games each, playing against each other. We do point spreads and totals. We do not do money lines for the shows. We save them for our parlays and everything else.
For me, it's
outside
for
the
my
game.
teasers.
And teasers now.
No, actually, no. The teasers are the point spreads, and
Right.
I'll be doing a lot of teasers this week because I'm having success with them.
Well, like we said, we're moving into the divisional round. We've got 4 games to choose from. So why don't we start off with game number 1? First game of the week, Washington Commanders at the Detroit Lions. Detroit is favored right now by 9.5 points. There's an over-under of 55.5. Mm-hmm. This is a game that actually features teams that didn't meet in the regular season, which is kind of unusual this year. Most of these playoff games so far, especially in the wild card, were rematches.
Yeah.
Detroit comes into the game after a bye week, a well-earned bye week, by the way.
Absolutely.
They're rested. Absolutely. Goff and company are all ready to go. Plus, they're getting David Montgomery back, which is, I think, a key for that offense. The offense really kind of took a step back at certain points with David Montgomery being knocked out. These teams, while they didn't meet in the regular season, they have met in the playoffs in the past. Washington's won the last 3 meetings between the two. What bothers me here is Detroit scored at least 31 points in 5 straight games, and they're 4-1 straight up in those games. Washington did have a lot of difficulty scoring against the Tampa Bay defense that is weaker. Mm-hmm. They're one of the strongest ones in the red zone, but they still are a weaker defense than what Detroit's been playing with. Aaron Glenn's been coming up some really unique schemes. I really love watching what Detroit has been doing on defense. Still, I'm going to make this short and sweet. It's really hard to go against Jaden Daniels and what Washington's been doing all season long, especially in terms of a point spread that is plus 9.5 right now. I'm going with Washington plus 9.5.
Well, I have this game too, and you mentioned a guy who I have in my analysis, and that is Aaron Glenn. I think Detroit's defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn will take away the big play from Commanders, which will make Washington throw short and run, which probably is a good plan for Washington to keep Detroit's offense off the field. Look, this total is huge, way too huge, and I think if we're looking for the trends from last week's playoff games, the unders hit pretty much very, very often, consistently, and I think this is incredibly big. This total, I think the score is going to fall short of the 55.5 points. You know how big this is? I'm surprised that the total in this game was higher than the total in the Baltimore Bills game, which is shocking to me. So I'm going under. Look, I think you might get around the 50 mark, but I don't think 55.5. Let me tell you something. The total in the Week 18 game against the Vikings, Detroit and the Vikings, was 56.5, and that fell well short. And I see this game falling short. I think Detroit's going to win it. I stayed away from the point spread on this one, but the total caught my eye. Just way too big. I'm taking the under.
I looked at the total too. I just didn't. The way the Washington's playing, I don't think Detroit's played up against a quarterback like Jaden Daniels this year so far.
I said, the guy you mentioned, Aaron Glenn, I think he's going to keep everything in front of him. I think it's not, I don't think you're going to see the big downfield plays from Washington. I think they're going to take that away, and which means a lot of time-consuming drives.
Todd Bowles said that too last week against
I
Washington.
know, right?
Anyway, let's head on over to the second game of the week. Second game of the week, Baltimore Ravens favored by 1 point at the Buffalo Bills. The total here is the over-under, is 51.5.
By the way, I took this game too.
Well,
are you a little shocked about this total? It's a little bit less than...
No, not with the way these two defenses have been playing.
Well, no.
The Ravens beat the Bills earlier this season. It was 35-10. It was a Week 4 game over at Baltimore. You're here in Buffalo now, Highmark Stadium. The Bills are 9-0 this season at home. Both teams are playing at 100%, but you got to look at something with the way the Baltimore Ravens defense has been playing. Baltimore allowed the 6th fewest rushing yards against quarterbacks this past season, just 3.75 yards per attempt for rushing quarterbacks. Here we got a rushing quarterback, a little different animal than what they've been facing. You can't really call Josh Allen a normal running quarterback.
No.
He seems to be just barreling people over. But again, the Ravens in the second half of the season have really clearly been one of the league's best defenses, if not the best defense. And then you got the Lamar Jackson-led offense paired with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is just blasting through everybody. I love the way late in the games, both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry just take over by just rushing the ball, and we're seeing some really good runs out of Henry late in the games as opposed to early in the games, which is kind of the way you want to finish off games. It shows that the Ravens have been in control in most of their games. The Ravens are 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games, and I think that's going to continue here on Baltimore laying the 1 point.
All right, like I said, I took this game too, but I think this game has shootout written all over, and I'm surprised it didn't have the biggest total of the week. So at 51.5, I just love the over in this because it's just these two offenses, and when I say offenses, I mean Jackson and Allen. I think they're going to push each other. I think they're both going to have big games. Let's take a look at last week. The Ravens averaged 6.4 yards per play, and the Bills averaged 6.5 yards per play. I know not great defenses, but it shows you something about these two teams, and I think they're going to push each other to score. And let me tell you something. I might put a little something on this. I'm thinking you might see overtime in this game, which is great for the over bettors. And guess what? I'm an over better. So I'm taking the over in this one. Over 51.5 points.
Yeah, it is kind of low. But
I thought this one would be the biggest total in the week.
But either way, let's head on over to the final game of the week.
All right.
My last game of the week, the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Pennsylvania to play the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 6 in this game. There's an over-under of 43.5.
Finally, we got a different game.
Yes.
How about that? All right.
Well, this is where you make up your ground.
There
if you
you
want
go.
to add in the previous regular season numbers here.
I have different bets on the same games
That's true,
we have,
too.
so I can we can both win.
Yep.
How about that?
The Eagles are 10-3 against the spread in their last 13 games here. They have won their last 6 games at home. They're 5-1 against the spread in those last 6 at home. Los Angeles, after shutting down Minnesota, that defense did an incredible job against the Minnesota Vikings. They come into the game riding a 4-0 against the spread streak as the visitor in their last 4 games. Opposing teams, I found this kind of interesting. Opposing teams have scored more than 10 points against Los Angeles just once in the Rams' last 5 games. They've all been 10 points or under. Rams have a great defensive line, and they showed that against Minnesota. And while the Eagles do have probably the best offensive line in the league, the Rams' defense has gotten so much better than when they played earlier in the season. The Rams lost to that. But since that loss to Philadelphia, the Rams have won 6 of their last 7 games. I don't think this is going to be an easy game for Philly. A lot of people are thinking this is almost an open and shut kind of case. I really wasn't too happy with the way the Eagles played against Green Bay. Green Bay was there in that game for most of that game until maybe midway through the third quarter, and it was all the turnovers.
Way too close for comfort.
And they just didn't seem in sync completely. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the rust factor with Jalen Hurts coming back, but whatever. I'm doing Los Angeles with the 6.
Well, my last game is the Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs, who are favored by 8 points with an over-under of 41.5. I know the story this year where the Kansas City Chiefs don't cover, but you know what? That was the regular season. This is the playoffs, and the Chiefs are coming in with a rest advantage, and the Chiefs have won each of their last 13 home games when playing with a rest advantage. Well, and now let's take a look at the playoffs. The Chiefs have also covered the spread in each of their last 6 postseason games, so they have a little bit of a trend going there. Oh, well, let's take a look at the Texans now. Not only have the Texans failed to cover their spread in each of their last 9 games when playing with a rest advantage, and here's a great stat I found. They have lost 8 previous road games against reigning Super Bowl champions. Chiefs are going to win this, and I think the Chiefs are going to cover. I know it's a little uncomfortable for me with the 8 points and the Chiefs, but it's the playoffs. They're rested. Let's go Chiefs.
Well, those are our picks and analysis for the divisional round. Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. We'll be right back after this.
Sign up at jackpot.com and you can bet on the world's best lotteries where the biggest jackpots are up for grabs. Powerball, Mega Millions, some of the biggest lotteries can be found at jackpot.com. Simply choose your lotto game, pick your numbers, or use their quick pick feature, and you're done. Sign up at jackpot.com with code DRAW24 and get a free lottery ticket with your first deposit. Jackpot.com, it's the world of lotto in your hand.
Terms and conditions apply. You must be at least 18 years old and in the United States to play. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome back to the Turnpike Sports Pro Football Show presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Caesars Sportsbook, home of Caesars Rewards. We just did our picks and analysis for the divisional round, so why don't we recap for everybody? Why don't you go ahead, Dave?
All right, I'm taking the under 55.5 in the Commanders-Lions game. I'm taking the over 51.5 in the Ravens-Bills game, and I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs to lay the 8 points against the Houston Texans.
And I'm taking Washington plus 9.5 in that Washington-Detroit game. I'm going with Baltimore laying the 1 point against the Buffalo Bills. And I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams as an underdog plus 6 against the Philadelphia Eagles over in Philly. Those are our picks and analysis for the divisional rounds. As always, we use Caesars Sportsbook midweek lines, so please check the lines before you place a bet. And as always, after the show is released, you'll see our picks on our blog, turnpikesports.us. Click on the blog button. You'll see the picks in print form there. Feel free to comment at the blog. Feel free to email us, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, or follow us on social media, Turnpike Sports, Turnpike Bets on X, Turnpike Sports on Facebook, Turnpike Sports Radio on Instagram. So good luck, everybody, on the divisional round. And bet responsibly.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike. Good luck, everyone.